Hi everyone, this is Sambhavi, and honestly speaking, this video is for you if you're someone who struggles with following a routine and struggles with showing up every day. Okay, and in today's video, we're going to talk about how to be consistent and how to stick to a routine. So let's go, let's talk about it. So, to begin with, let's first understand what consistency really is. Consistency basically refers to showing up every day. That's it, that's literally it. Okay, and a lot of people actually get confused between consistency and discipline. Both of them are actually different concepts, and it's not that difficult to understand how they're different. So, consistency is when you show up every day, like I mentioned. Discipline, on the other hand, is putting in the exact same amount of effort every day. Okay, so that is the difference. Let me explain this through an example because I think that will be easier to understand. So let's say you've set a goal to go out for a walk for 45 minutes every day. Okay, consistency would be showing up every day without fail, even if you're sick, even if you're busy, whatever, right? Discipline is showing up and going out for a walk for 45 minutes. So let's say you're busy, you're really busy, you have a packed schedule and you absolutely cannot go out for a walk for 45 minutes. So consistency would be going out for 10 minutes. Consistency would be going out for 15 minutes, for 20 minutes, even for 5 minutes. Just going on a short walk would be fine. A short stroll would also be fine. That is consistency. Discipline, on the other hand, is setting up an entire routine in a way where you can accommodate going out for a walk every day for 45 minutes. That is literally the only difference between discipline and consistency. Now, oftentimes being consistent is a lot more easier than being disciplined, okay? Being consistent is actually just a small part of being disciplined, okay? And it is a lot easier than being disciplined. So before I make a video on how to be disciplined, I really wanted to make a video on how to be consistent because this is a small step. This is a small step towards the big thing, which is discipline. So now that we've understood the difference between consistency and discipline, let's move on to chapter number 1. Chapter number 1 is all about understanding why you cannot follow a routine and why you're not able to stay consistent. And usually, most of the times, almost every time, the reason behind why you're not being able to stay consistent is either perfectionism or procrastination, or both. So what happens is that when you're a perfectionist, you're basically going to wait for the right opportunity to do something. You're going to be like, "Oh, this is not the right time. Today is just not the day for me to start, okay?" And then you tell yourself that, "Oh, it's the mid of the month. This is 17th of April or 18th of April, and I don't want to start at the middle of the month. I want to start from the first of the month, so I will start from May." And then you basically procrastinate it because it's not the perfect moment. Procrastination is obviously also similar, but in that case what happens is, "Oh, I'm going to start going out for a walk for 45 minutes every day starting tomorrow." And then tomorrow arrives and then you're just too lazy to go, so you say, "I'll start tomorrow. I'll start tomorrow." And then you never do it. Now the problem here is you are under this delusion that there is a tomorrow. How are you so sure that you're gonna go to bed today and you're gonna wake up tomorrow? What if you don't? You're gonna obviously if you don't, it's not gonna affect you, but think about it like this. You've lived a miserable life by constantly pushing away a task. You've lived a miserable life because you could have been a different person if you just did it, but you didn't. You procrastinated and you pushed it away, and then you didn't do it, and now you're just exactly where you were yesterday. Doesn't that scare you? Doesn't the fact that you're exactly the way you were yesterday scare you? It should. I mean, honestly, it should. But yeah, and all of that is it's really mind consuming, and everybody's all over the place. When it's both, when it's procrastination and perfectionism at the same time, it sort of looks like the first scenario that I described. Today is not the perfect opportunity, so I will do this tomorrow. like that it coexists, okay, and then it ruins your chance of being consistent. So the first step to being consistent is to break out of this cycle of procrastinating and waiting for the perfect moment, because it's never going to come. The perfect moment is right now. The first perfect moment was 3 years ago. You lost that moment because you procrastinated, and the next perfect moment is right now. Take the opportunity or leave it and be exactly the same person that you've always been. Isn't that scary? Aren't you scared? Exactly. Start working on yourself. Start working towards your goals. Now that we've spoken about why we're not able to be consistent and what's stopping us, which is procrastination and perfectionism, we're going to discuss now in chapter number 2, we're going to discuss how to, tackle procrastination and perfectionism and how to step out of this vicious cycle. So, right now in this chapter, what we're going to focus on is methods that will help you implement consistency into your life. Alright? So, the first method that I'm going to be discussing is classical conditioning that was introduced by Ivan Pavlov, the Russian neurologist. And classical conditioning basically is, like in simpler terms, is associative learning. And what you do is you pair like one habit that you already have with another habit that you want to inculcate into your life. Okay, so for example, let's take the walk example again. You want to go out for like a walk every day for 45 minutes. Okay, and let's take the fact that you like spending time with like kids. You like spending time with kids. So what you're gonna do is every day you if you like spending time with kids, what you're gonna do is you're gonna pair this up to the habit that you want to learn, which is going out for a walk for 45 minutes. You're gonna go to a park and you're gonna spend time with kids. You're gonna like walk around the park and you're gonna look at kids. You're gonna like play with kids probably. You're gonna talk to kids. You're gonna talk to like you're gonna interact socially. And while it's something you love doing, which is being with kids, like spending time with kids and talking to them, and just like bubbly laughter and having fun with kids, while you're doing something that you actually like doing, you're also tackling the task of a 45-minute walk. So if we just think about, most of the times what happens is people procrastinate because if they just think about their task alone, they're going to struggle with doing it. So like if you're thinking about going out for a walk for 45 minutes and you don't like the idea of that, you're just going to be like, oh, I don't want to walk. I really don't want to go out on a walk today. But since you like spending time with kids and you associate this with that, and you tell yourself, oh, if I go on a walk today, I get to spend time with kids, and I get to talk to kids, I get to play with kids, I get to see kids laughing and giggling, I get to experience innocence again, right, by being with kids. And so that if you do that, it's going to motivate you to go out on a walk every day, and it's going to make it that easier for you. Moving on to the second method, which is introduced by B.F. Skinner, and it is the method of operant conditioning, which is also another type of learning, but this is sort of like instrumental learning. This is sort of like reinforcement. So this is the reward system in like really like basic simple terms. This is the reward system. So let's take the walk example. You have to go out for a walk for 45 minutes and you're like not in the mood. You're literally not in the mood. But let's say you like waffles. You like eating waffles. And what you're going to do is you're going to tell yourself, if I go out on a walk for 45 minutes, I am going to reward myself with a waffle. Now, obviously, I would not recommend doing that every day. Like, imagine just going out for a walk every day and being like, I'm going to reward myself with a waffle every day after the 45-minute walk. Where is the health? Where is the fitness? So, what you're going to do is you're going to reward yourself on, like, let's say Monday, and then the next, like, after that, you're going to reward yourself on Thursdays, and then on Sundays, and then on, like, Wednesdays, and then, like, on Saturdays or whatever. And you just, like, you make up a schedule that I'm going to reward myself, like, once in 3 days, or once in 4 days, or whatever, right? And that is going to be your motivation to show up and to work and to go like for the walk every day for 45 minutes. Now, since I said consistency is just showing up and discipline is like doing that like every day for the exact same amount of time. If in case you're not able to like go out on a walk today, what you're gonna do is you're just gonna go around like your house. You can walk around your house, or you can like replace walking with a small exercise, because that still maintains your like health. It still aligns with your goal of being healthy. So in like during days when you cannot show up for like the same amount of time that you promised yourself, what you're going to do is you're going to find a simpler alternative, and you're going to replace that for that particular day. That way you're still meeting the needs of your goals while also like having free time for yourself throughout the day, and not having like a jam packed schedule, and it's just easier that way. That's all I had for today's video. I hope you guys liked it, and I hope all of the methods that I discussed, everything that I discussed, is actually going to be helpful for you, and it's going to help you become more consistent, and it's going to help you align with your goals. And I really hope that you work upon yourself and that you have fun working upon yourself with the methods that I discussed. That's literally all that I had for today's video. I hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you guys next week with a new video. Bye bye!